In this video, I'll be helping you with the math topic called factor by grouping, seen here in the OpenStax College Algebra text. We're given a description at the top, an example here where we are factoring 5x squared plus 7x minus 6, and then also the how-to at the bottom. So I will follow along with the how-to. And step 1 in the how-to says to list the factors of a times c. Here our a coefficient is 5 and our c coefficient is negative 6. A times c will be 5 times negative 6 or negative 30. In the first step, we're listing the factors. So negative 30 could be either 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, or 5 and 6. And since this needs to be a negative 30, one of these two factors would be positive and the other would be negative. So a positive 1 would need a negative 30, a negative 1 a positive 30, and so on for the other factors. Next, for number 2, we want to find the P and Q as a pair that sum to B. So which set of factors add up to be a positive 7? And I can see here that if I take a negative 3 and a positive 10, those work as factors of negative 30, but they also add up to a positive 7. So we've identified the P and Q. Next, we are rewriting the original expression. So rewriting this whole thing, but replacing that middle part with these P's and Q's that we just found. It doesn't matter which order. Typically, if the signs are different, I'll make the negative 1 first, as I have it here, negative 3. But rewriting that original equation, replacing the 7x with a minus 3x and a plus 10x. Everything else is the same. We've rewritten it, and now if it's factorable, we should be able to pull out a GCF from the first part. Here they both have x. I can factor an x out, leaving me with a 5x and a minus 3. And also factoring out the GCF of the second part, this time those both have a 2. Which, by the way, recall that we can always factor out a 1 if nothing else. But these both have a 2 that I can factor out. From the 10x, that would leave me a 5x. And from the minus 6, a minus 3. We've factored out the GCF of the first half and factored out the GCF of the second half. And since this quadratic is factorable, we now have a common factor between the first half of the expression and the second half. So we can factor out that 5x minus 3. And in the first part, we're left with just the x. And in the second part, with just the plus 2. We have now factored the entire quadratic.